Hello, I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Thanks for joining us tonight on TCM as we wind down a lineup of Godzilla movies. The first of 4 Godzilla mini marathons we'll be presenting on Friday nights this month. The Godzilla series began with director Ishiro Honda's original, released in 1954 by Toho Studios in Japan, followed by Godzilla Raids Again, directed by Motoyoshi Oda, released in 1955. The next Godzilla film in the series came 7 years later, pitting Godzilla against his only true rival with King Kong vs. Godzilla, directed by Honda, released in 1962. But a year earlier, in 1961, another movie directed by Honda for Toho hit Japanese theaters, this one about a giant moth, Mothra, who became one of the studio's most popular movie monsters. Up next, Mothra encounters Godzilla for the first time in Toho's 4th Godzilla picture, again directed by Honda. From 1964, Mothra vs. Godzilla. Released in the U.S. as Godzilla vs. the Thing by American International Pictures, Mothra vs. Godzilla addresses how corporate greed can be just as destructive as Godzilla, with less rubble. In the story, greed has raised Godzilla from the deep once more, and this time the inhabitants of Nagoya will pay dearly unless they can find a way to stop him. Their only hope is Mothra, and they enlist her help through her guardians, fairy-like twins played by Yumi Ito and Emi Ito. The Ito twins were a popular singing duo in Japan known as the Peanuts. As usual in Godzilla movies, the special effects were orchestrated by Eiji Tsuburaya, who purchased a new Oxbury optical printer to create composites that vastly improved the quality of the effects over previous Godzilla pictures, enabling Tsuburaya to show the creatures in real locations and to incorporate them more seamlessly with fleeing crowds in the frame. From 1964, Mothra vs. Godzilla. Even though Mothra meets her end against Godzilla in Mothra vs. Godzilla, you see that her legacy continues through her offspring, who ultimately defeats Godzilla, at least in this movie. Godzilla and Mothra cross paths into the 21st century in 7 additional pictures, including Gojira, the 3-headed monster from 1964, which we'll be showing later this month, Destroy All Monsters from 1968, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla from 1994, and Godzilla Final Wars from 2004. Monster battles are a staple of the Godzilla franchise. The first came on screen in King Kong vs. Godzilla from 1962. Mothra vs. Godzilla was the first time Godzilla battled a monster from another Japanese film. Up next, Mothra flies solo, making her big screen debut in a film directed by Ishiro Honda.